Hey everyone, welcome back to English Lovers Studio. Today, we continue with phrasal verbs in different situations. These little combinations of words can be tricky, but so powerful. From describing situations to persuading people, we'll go over everything. Let's jump right in. First, we're exploring how to give and get information with phrasal verbs that'll keep you ahead of the game. Communication. 1. Bring up. To introduce a topic in a conversation. During the meeting, she brought up the issue of budget cuts. I didn't want to bring up the problem, but it was important to discuss. 2. Get on to. To start discussing a different topic. We finished discussing the report and got on to the next agenda item. After talking about the product, the team got on to marketing strategies. 3. Run through. To quickly explain or review something. Let me run through the main points before we start the project. We ran through the checklist to make sure everything was ready. 4. Leave aside. To stop discussing something temporarily or ignore it for the moment. Let's leave aside the complaints and focus on solving the issue first. We'll leave aside the budget discussion until we have more information. 5. Come back to. To return to a topic after discussing something else. We'll come back to this point later in the meeting. Can we come back to that question after we finish the current discussion? 6. Spell out. To explain something in detail or very clearly. I had to spell out the instructions because the team was confused. Could you spell out exactly what you expect from this project? 7. Deal with. To handle or address a problem or situation. We need to deal with the customer complaints immediately. I'll deal with the report after I finish this task. 8. Keep to. To stick to a topic, schedule, or plan. Please keep to the main topic during the discussion. We need to keep to the schedule if we want to finish on time. 9. Turn to. To seek help or advice from someone or something. When I'm stuck, I usually turn to my colleagues for advice. He turned to his mentor for guidance when he faced challenges. 10. Boss, bully, someone about, around. To give orders or commands to someone in an aggressive or controlling way. The new manager keeps bullying the staff around with unreasonable demands. He's always ordering people about, as if he's in charge of everything. 11. Turn down. To reject an offer or request. She turned down the job offer because the salary wasn't high enough. I had to turn down the invitation as I was too busy. 12. Pass on. To give information or a message to someone else. I'll pass on your message to the manager when I see him. Can you pass the news on to the rest of the team? 13. Speak up. To speak louder or express your opinion. If you disagree with the plan, you should speak up during the meeting. Please speak up, we can't hear you from the back of the room. 14. Get through to. To make someone understand or to reach someone by communication. I finally got through to him after explaining the issue several times. It was hard to get through to the support team, but I finally reached them. 15. Get across. To successfully communicate an idea or message. He struggled to get his point across to the audience. The manager made sure to get the instructions across to everyone clearly. 16. Butt in. To interrupt a conversation or discussion rudely. He always butts in when I'm talking to someone else. Please don't butt in while we're discussing this topic. Next up, we're learning some definitions and for the phrasal verbs related to people and places. 1. Dress up. To wear formal or special clothes, often for a specific occasion. We're dressing up for the wedding this weekend. He likes to dress up as a superhero for Halloween. 2. Do up. To fasten something, like buttons or a zipper, or to renovate and improve a place. Can you help me do up the back of my dress? They're doing up the old house on the corner to sell it. 3. Freshen up. To quickly wash or tidy oneself to feel cleaner or more presentable. I'll freshen up before we head out to dinner. She went to the restroom to freshen up after the long flight. 4. Run down. To criticize someone or something unfairly, or to describe a place or building in poor condition. He's always running people down, making them feel bad about themselves. That part of town is really run down and needs redevelopment. 5. Litter with. To be filled or covered with scattered objects, typically trash or debris. The beach was littered with plastic bottles after the holiday weekend. Her desk was littered with papers and coffee cups. 6. Stick out. To be noticeable or to protrude from a surface. His bright red jacket made him stick out in the crowd. That branch sticks out too far and could hit someone walking by. 7. Set apart. To distinguish or make someone or something different from others. Her attention to detail sets her apart from other designers. This feature sets the new model apart from the older version. 8. Tell apart. To differentiate between two or more similar people or things. It's hard to tell the twins apart because they look exactly alike. I can never tell apart these two brands, they're so similar. 9. Blend in. To look or behave like the surrounding people or things, making it hard to notice. He tried to blend in by wearing the same outfit as everyone else. The house blends in with the natural landscape because of its green roof. Now let's look at some phrasal verbs related to public events. 1. The public poured in. Large numbers of people entered or arrived at a place quickly or continuously. As soon as the doors opened, the public poured in to see the concert. The public poured in from all directions to attend the festival. 2. Take off. To become successful or popular quickly, or to begin to happen suddenly. The new singer's career really took off after her first album. The event took off as soon as the music started. 3. Stand in. To temporarily take the place of someone else. He had to stand in for the host who was sick during the event. The understudy stood in for the main actor during the performance. 4. The show was put on by its creators. The event or show was organized, staged, or produced by the people who created it. The play was put on by its creators to celebrate their 10th anniversary. The exhibition was put on by its creators to showcase their latest work. 5. Tie in with. To be connected to or happen at the same time as something else. The launch of the new product tied in with the company's 50th anniversary. The event ties in with the release of her new book. 6. Send up. To parody or mock someone or something, usually in a humorous way. The comedian sent up politicians during his act, and the crowd loved it. They created a skit to send up the latest trends in pop culture. 7. Call off. To cancel an event or activity. Due to the rain, the outdoor concert was called off. They had to call off the event because of safety concerns. 8. Cram into, in. To force a lot of people or things into a small space. Hundreds of fans crammed into the small venue to see their favorite band. We all crammed in to catch the last few minutes of the game. 9. Pass off. To happen or be completed in a certain way, often referring to an event. The concert passed off without any problems, despite the weather. The event passed off smoothly, and everyone had a great time. 10. Put off. To postpone or delay something. They had to put off the meeting until next week. The event was put off due to unforeseen circumstances. 11. Put back. To reschedule something to a later time or date. The ceremony was put back by an hour to accommodate late arrivals. They decided to put back the concert until next month. Great job so far. Let's move into describing situations, because life throws all sorts of things at us. Whether you're muddling up a plan or trying to rise above a tricky situation, you'll be equipped with the perfect phrasal verb. Describing situations. 1. Get out of. To avoid or escape a situation, obligation, or responsibility. He's always trying to get out of doing his homework. We need to find a way to get out of this mess. 2. Muddle up. To confuse or mix things up, often by mistake. I muddled up the meeting times and missed the important one. He muddled up the documents, causing a lot of confusion. 3. Mix up. To confuse two or more things, often because they look or sound similar. I always mix up their names, because they're twins. She mixed up the ingredients and the cake turned out terrible. 4. Revolve around. To be centered or focused on something. The entire discussion revolved around the budget issue. Her life seems to revolve around her job. 5. Run up against. To encounter a difficult situation or problem. We ran up against a lot of opposition when trying to implement the new policy. They ran up against some technical issues during the presentation. 6. Crop up. To appear or happen unexpectedly. A few problems cropped up during the project that we didn't anticipate. New issues keep cropping up in the final stages of planning. 7. Bank on. To depend or rely on something happening. I wouldn't bank on him being on time. They're banking on a positive response from the investors. 8. Turn out. To happen or result in a particular way. The event turned out to be a huge success. It turned out that she was right all along. 9. Rise above. To overcome challenges or ignore negative things. He managed to rise above the criticism and keep going. You should rise above the pettiness and focus on your work. 10. Back off. To stop being involved or to move away from a situation. He backed off when he realized he was wrong. They told the media to back off and respect their privacy. 11. Catch up. To reach someone or something that is ahead, or to make up for lost time. You've missed a few classes, so you'll need to catch up. I need to catch up on my work after being sick. 12. Hot up. To become more intense or exciting. The competition started to hot up in the second half. Things are really hotting up as the deadline approaches. 13. Throw together. To quickly put together something without much planning. We had to throw together a presentation at the last minute. They threw together a quick meal for the unexpected guests. 14. Heat up. To become more intense, especially in conflict or competition. The debate really heated up when they started discussing the budget. As the election nears, the competition is heating up. Giving and getting information. 1. Come under. To be subjected to something, especially pressure or criticism. The company came under fire for its environmental policies. The government has come under criticism for its handling of the crisis. 2. Draw on, upon. To use information, experience, or resources for a purpose. She drew on her experience to solve the problem. We need to draw upon all our resources to get through this. 3. Point out. To highlight or mention something important. He pointed out a mistake in the report. I'd like to point out that this decision will affect everyone. 4. Turn to. To seek advice or assistance from someone. When in doubt, I always turn to my mentor for advice. She turned to her colleagues for help with the project. 5. Latch on. To understand or grasp something. It took me a while to latch on to the new concept. He quickly latched on to the idea during the presentation. 6. Take in. To fully understand or absorb information. There was so much information, it was hard to take it all in. I had to read the article twice to take in all the details. 7. Watch out for. To be alert or cautious about something or someone. Watch out for any suspicious activity during the event. Make sure you watch out for traffic when crossing the road. 8. Find out. To discover or learn something new. I just found out that the meeting was cancelled. We need to find out who is responsible for the mistake. 9. Check up on. To look into something or someone's progress or condition. The boss checked up on the team to see how the project was going. I need to check up on the status of my application. 10. Track down. To find someone or something after a search. We finally tracked down the missing files. The police are tracking down the suspect. 11. Match up. To compare things, to see if they are similar or fit together. Make sure the data matches up with the report. These puzzle pieces don't seem to match up. Now, let's move on to something we all face: solving problems. 1. Talk over. To discuss something thoroughly before making a decision. We need to talk over the details before finalizing the contract. Let's talk this over and decide what to do next. 2. Bottle out. To decide not to do something because of fear. He was going to speak up, but he bottled out at the last minute. They bottled out of the challenge because it seemed too risky. 3. Call for. To require or demand something. This situation calls for immediate action. The report calls for more funding to support the program. 4. Deal with. To handle a problem or situation. We'll deal with the complaints as soon as possible. It's important to deal with issues before they escalate. 5. Face up to. To confront or accept a difficult situation. He finally faced up to his responsibilities. It's time to face up to the fact that changes are needed. 6. See about. To arrange or take care of something. I'll see about getting us tickets to the show. She said she would see about organizing a meeting. 7. Lay in. To stock up on supplies for future use. We need to lay in enough food for the winter. They laid in extra materials in case of a delay. 8. Come up with. To think of or produce an idea, solution, or plan. He came up with a brilliant solution to the problem. We need to come up with a strategy for the next quarter. 9. Narrow down. To reduce the number of possibilities or options. We've narrowed down the list of candidates to 3. The detective narrowed down the suspects to just one person. 10. Lie in. To be found or exist in something. The problem lies in the lack of communication. Success often lies in the details. Now let's shift gears and talk about decisions and plans. 1. Sleep on. To delay making a decision until the next day to think about it more. I'm not sure if I should accept the job offer. I'll sleep on it and decide tomorrow. Before making a big decision, it's always good to sleep on it. 2. Weigh up. To consider the pros and cons of a situation before making a decision. We need to weigh up all the options before deciding which one to choose. She weighed up the risks and benefits before making her final choice. 3. Allow for. To consider or include something in planning. When planning the event, make sure to allow for delays. We allowed for some extra time in case the meeting runs late. 4. Bargain for. To expect something to happen, usually something negative. The exam was harder than I had bargained for. He didn't bargain for so much traffic on his way to the interview. 5. Chicken out. To decide not to do something because of fear or lack of courage. I was going to try bungee jumping, but I chickened out at the last minute. He chickened out of the presentation because he was too nervous. 6. Have many things on. To have many things planned or to be very busy. I can't join the meeting tomorrow, I have too much on at work. She has a lot on her plate right now with her new project. 7. Be set against. To be firmly opposed to something. He's set against changing the company's direction. They're set against the idea of moving to a new city. Alright, so you've made a decision, but what happens when people don't agree with you? No worries, because we're moving on to phrasal verbs that help you express disagreement. Disagreeing. 1. Stick together. To support each other or remain united, especially during tough times. In difficult situations, it's important for the team to stick together. We'll get through this if we stick together. 2. Speak out. To express an opinion openly and publicly, especially in opposition to something. She spoke out against the unfair treatment of employees. He's not afraid to speak out when he sees injustice. 3. Give in. To surrender or stop resisting, especially after trying to fight or oppose. After hours of negotiation, they finally gave in to the demands. She didn't want to, but she gave in to the pressure. 4. Stay out of. To avoid becoming involved in a situation or dispute. I'm going to stay out of their argument, it's none of my business. It's best to stay out of office politics. 5. Put me down. To criticize someone in a way that makes them feel small or unimportant. He's always putting me down in front of others. Don't put her down just because she made a mistake. 6. Fall out. To have a disagreement or argument with someone, resulting in the end of a relationship. They fell out over money and haven't spoken since. We had a small disagreement, but luckily we didn't fall out. 7. Stick up for. To defend or support someone, especially in an argument or conflict. She always sticks up for her friends when they're in trouble. You need to stick up for yourself and not let people walk all over you. 8. Get to. To start affecting someone emotionally, often in a negative way. Don't let their rude comments get to you. The stress of the job is starting to get to me. 9. Hold against. To continue to blame someone for something they did in the past. I made a mistake, but she still holds it against me. Don't hold it against him, he was just trying to help. 10. Back up. To support someone's opinion or argument. I'll back you up if anyone questions your decision. Her claims were backed up by solid evidence. 11. Back down. To give up on an argument or position, especially when someone else is opposing you. He refused to back down even though he was wrong. They backed down after realizing they didn't have enough support. 12. Back out. To withdraw from a promise, agreement, or plan. She backed out of the deal at the last minute. They agreed to help, but then backed out without explanation. Up next, we're diving into the art of persuasion, whether you're putting your point across or talking someone into a new idea. Persuading. 1. Put across, over. To communicate an idea clearly. She put her point across very well during the meeting. It's important to put your ideas over clearly to the audience. 2. Put forward. To suggest or propose an idea, plan, or argument. He put forward a proposal to improve the company's performance. Several ideas were put forward during the brainstorming session. 3. Put to. To suggest something to someone so they can consider it or respond. I'll put the idea to my manager and see what she thinks. He put an interesting question to the audience. 4. Talk around, round. To persuade someone to agree with you, often after some discussion. We managed to talk him around to our way of thinking. It took a while, but she eventually talked me around to her idea. 5. Talk into. To persuade someone to do something they were initially unwilling to do. They talked me into going to the party, even though I didn't want to. He talked her into taking the job offer. 6. Talk out of. To persuade someone not to do something. I managed to talk him out of quitting his job. She talked me out of buying that expensive coat. 7. Call for. To demand or require something. The situation calls for quick and decisive action. The workers are calling for better wages and conditions. 8. Brush aside. To dismiss or ignore someone's ideas or concerns. He brushed aside all criticism and continued with his plan. The manager brushed aside my concerns about the project. 9. Press for. To push or insist on something happening. The committee is pressing for changes to be made immediately. They continued to press for more transparency in the process. 10. Rope in. To persuade someone to help you with something, especially when they're reluctant. I was roped in to help organize the event. He managed to rope me in for the weekend project. 11. Fall for. To be deceived by something or to believe something that is not true. She fell for his lies and ended up losing money. I can't believe I fell for that scam. 12. Have on. To deceive someone as a joke or trick. I thought he was serious, but he was just having me on. They had the whole office on with that prank. And there you have it. With these phrasal verbs under your belt, you're ready to handle anything, from tough decisions to smooth persuasion. If you find this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more content that'll boost your language skills. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.